Jersey Shore?
Never.
Never?
No.
So you have no idea what we're referring to with Gym Tan Laundry?
None. Zero.
Cabs are here.
Oh, God. Mike T is here, former NFL general manager, ESPN front office executive. You have been a big supporter of J.J. McCarthy. Kyler Murray was brought in yesterday to start or to compete for the starting job?
Yeah, I think it's one of the most transformational transactions we'll see in 5 years. I think he'll start. I think they'll win the division. And on a $300 million cap, guys, for Kyler Murray to play for $1.3 million at 29 years old, it's like, what's that expression? It's like finding a loose change in your couch. Like, they're getting him for nothing. Mm-hmm. And if I'm Kyler Murray, that is such a great place to go to be developed. And I think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there is clearly going to be lofty expectations for Kevin O'Connell, but right now, the reputation does not match the playoff resume. And so I'm curious, from your perspective, Mr. T, how much runway do you continue to give a head coach that has had a revolving door at quarterback, a fourth different starting quarterback in as many seasons?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kevin's. He was with us at the Jets. So was Cliff Kingsbury in our injured reserve coaching development quarterback program. And look, I think they're going to be really good. They have had a number of quarterbacks. I'm not sure all that's his fault, but I am a believer in him and that team and, what they could do offensively, what Brian Flores could do defensively. I think, they could put it all together. And arguably Justin Jefferson is, maybe the best receiver in the game.
What's the biggest hurdle as you see it for them putting it all together?
Yeah, well, look, running back is certainly a question mark right now. And then, do they keep Jonathan Grenard? That's going to be a big question. Can they replace, Harrison Smith at safety? To me, those are the question marks.
So you said you think that they're going to win the division now that Kyler Murray is there. Is that an indictment on the Bears and the Packers in any way? Because you're saying that you think the Bears, who are kind of the darlings coming out of last year's season, and the Packers, who a lot of people expect to always consistently be in that conversation. I know last year you said you thought Jordan Love could be the MVP.
We do love Love.
We love Love. You and I both love Love. So what is it about the Vikings that puts you in a position where you think that they could be better than the Bears and the Packers?
Well, first of all, I think the Bears could be better next year and have a worse record. They had so many improbable wins. Like, when you study the data over 10, 20, 30 years, it's hard to replicate that year in, year out. And I think, Green Bay should be really good, but, they lost Jeff Hafley, right? They lost Rashawn Gary. Is Micah Parsons going to be the same guy in year one? Romeo Doubs was a good player. So I think they're going to still be really good. But I just think you look at Minnesota guys, they won 9 games. And last year, J.J. McCarthy threw 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. So if they get B play from Kyler Murray, doesn't that portend to at least another win or two?
Mike T, more likely before the season and / as the season begins, J.J. McCarthy is more likely to be traded before the season or to start game 1 of the season?
Well, yeah, I'd say neither. If I had to pick one, I'd say, I guess, trade. I think this is Kyler's job, but I wouldn't trade him. He's 23 years old. He started 10 games in his career. Like, why are we moving on from him? Like, don't we want depth at that position?
Sure, but now you're going to 3 years not playing, which normally I would say I actually love. Right, I love the idea of QB development and actually taking their time. They didn't take their time with him. They saw him play, saw he wasn't ready, saw he wasn't good enough yet, and thus got someone else. It's a little different than like the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers part of it, where it's waiting for the guy. So do you still think he's in QB development?
Yeah, absolutely. It's never in a straight line. And why would you move on from a guy that you felt good about 2 years ago, and obviously has a ton of ability? Like, look, go back to opening day last year. Like, he won the game in Chicago on the road.
It was a great performance.
And look, you just can't make a decision based on that as we're throwing the interception.
I know. Yeah. I just saw that.
I mean,
I'm giving a check minus to the production people right now.
Like, on the TV, for those listening on radio.
They do it with Kyler Murray, too.
As Mike is trying to provide the positive around J.J. McCarthy, we are showing the negative. Anyway, CC, over to you.
It's like raising 2 kids. I mean, it's all
Mr. T, did the Ravens do anything wrong when it comes to the Maxx Crosby trade and nixing it because of the failed physical?
0. And for the people that say they would never deal with Baltimore again, I want to be really clear on the record. They have no idea what they're talking about. 0. If you hear anybody say, I am saying this 100% on the record, if you hear anybody say that in our industry, well, now somebody won't deal with the Baltimore Ravens, they don't know what they're talking about. Eric DeCosta has been in this business for over 30 years. He has a reputation beyond reproach, and the NFL is a transactional world. So if Team B wants to have an opportunity to improve their team with the Ravens, not 99.9%, 100% they're going to call the Ravens. And anyone that says anything, that it's complete bull, you know what it is. And it just bothers me because there are people taking shots at this guy's character. Like, they have no idea what they're talking about. Maxx Crosby took a physical. Like, they didn't bring him in indiscriminately because they didn't want to do the deal. Like, I've been in those situations where I've had knockdown, drag out with the doctors. Like you have to defer to your doctors. Now, there's all sorts of things we could talk about. They didn't announce the deal, but clearly they knew it was going to get out. You know, could they have done the physical somewhat quiet? Who knows? But like, the bottom line is, like, that was beyond their control.
So how would you feel if you were in the Raiders front office and you think you're getting 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, and then even though the medicals are out there, all of a sudden it's a failed physical, the deal falls apart, and your leverage with this player essentially vanishes?
Yeah, I'd be really disappointed. But like, when you have again, I know enough to be dangerous here. Like, when you have a meniscus injury, it's one of two things. You could take out what's been torn, and that's a quick rehab, 4 to 6 weeks, or you could have it repaired, which could be 4 to 6 months. And like, you just know,
process.
It's a long process, but you're hoping on the other end that you have a better, longer term result. So my only question, Michelle, on that would be is, like, knowing that there was, like, apparently a bone bruise, there was, you know, other, you know, things in this deal, like, what were they expecting? But it is what it is. Like, if I'm the Raiders, I just got to cut my losses and move on.
Mr. T, on the other side of that, though, when it comes to potentially moving Maxx Crosby into the future, is it setting up for a scenario where the Raiders would get pennies on the dollar because of this Knicks trade with the Baltimore Ravens?
So I have just the solution. So when you make a trade, it's a contract between Team A and Team B. And in that contract, you can have conditions. So, for example, when we traded for Brett Favre, it was a conditional pick. It could be a 3rd-round pick. It could have been a 1st-round pick. So Tampa Bay, Indy, Buffalo, take one of those 3 teams. Trade him, no conditions. So you get Maxx Crosby today as is. You get a 2nd-round pick in 2026. You get a 2nd-round pick in 2027 that goes to a 1st-round pick if Maxx Crosby plays 70% or more of the snaps in 2026. Both sides win. The acquiring club, you know, they hedge their bet a little bit for one of the great players in the game. But if he's the Maxx Crosby that you think and we think, then you're going to get that 1st-round pick next year.
You may not like that you came up with that. I said the same thing earlier in the week, so you may want to actually retract that now, because I don't know if you want to think like me. It's not good.
We could go back to see who said first.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm not doubting that. You've done this before. I haven't. So we're talking about Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL front office insider. Who's left that you sitting there saying, I can't believe this guy's left? This is a value steal that's out there.
Yeah, boy, that's a great question. I mean, there's some offensive linemen that I thought were going to move. I would have said Bradley Chubb, but he just went
to Buffalo, yeah.
Yeah. You know, Kirk Cousins is the obvious name. Here's what I don't understand, Evan. Like, if you're the Raiders, like, if you're going to sign Kirk Cousins, maybe he doesn't want to go there, apparently, but, like, why not just keep Geno Smith if you need a bridge quarterback?
Exactly right. I don't understand why they didn't keep Geno. Made no sense to me.
Right?
I mean, but Geno got a great opportunity to start. How about some of these wide receivers? Now, there may be more name than actual game right now. I don't know. Tyreek Hill. Steph Diggs had a good season last year, had some off-the-field stuff, as we know. Deebo Samuel. Once Brandon Ayuk, again, some off-the-field questions, not like legal, but just weird things that happened last year. If he gets released by the Niners, any of those wide receivers interest you?
Yeah, I think Ayuk, you know, like, that was a really weird deal. Like, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's going to walk to the Commanders on a 1-year deal because of, you know, to be reunited with Jaden Daniels from Arizona State. And, you know, obviously they could still use, we'll see what happens. But I don't understand what like, both sides seems to have lost in that deal. You know, the other thing that's interesting to me is Mike Evans going for $14 million to Tampa, leaving Tampa Bay. Like, talking to some teams, I think more teams would have been interested in Mike Evans if they knew he was that inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tannenbaum, always great stuff, and doesn't know anything about Jersey Shore, even though we have Jim Tannenbaum.